Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Craft House Magic podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to new viewers and returning viewers who can actually put up with me for another episode. So I'm Ellie Jones and I'm Craft House Magic on Ravelry and Instagram, and you can also find my website crafthhousemagic.co.uk, where you can find links to my other social media sites as well as my Etsy shop, which is also Craft House Magic. Oh, that was a bit of a mouthful. So thank you so much to everybody who joined in for the knit along. It was brilliant to see everybody's socks that they'd had a go at with techniques that they'd not tried before. So if you'd like to see any of those socks, if you go over to the Ravelry group for the sock knit along challenge, the finished objects as well as the chatter thread, you can see lots and lots of lovely works in progress and finished objects there. Unfortunately I haven't shut the thread because I don't know how to shut the thread. If anybody can tell me how to close a thread in Ravelry, that would be brilliant. But I have already picked winners and contacted them on Ravelry directly, but I will tell everybody who won. So, for the knitting pattern that was just donated by Ruth from Knitterarium, it was Kristen9312 who won, so congratulations. We'd got a mini skein set from Fondant Fibre, which came with some lovely soap and some lip balm, and that went to Math Marie, so thanks Marie. And the third prize, which is a voucher for my shop, went to Morris CD, which was Christine, so congratulations to everybody there who won. I also did a 1,000 subscriber giveaway on the Instagram, just because I thought it'd be easier doing it through Instagram, and the winner for that one was at Bags by Diane, so congratulations Diane. So she won one of my sheep bags that I've already posted to her, and she's already received it, so that's brilliant. It's good to know that the postal service works well. Oh, I forgot to say I'm drinking out of my Harry Potter mug today, and it's got this really cool footprints that comes up when your drink's hot, and you can see it's just about cooling down because the footprints are starting to fade just there, but it's really cute, and it's got the Marauders map on the other side. I've got some Harry Potter things to talk about a bit later, so stay tuned. Right, so, and I've got to say thank you so much to everybody who purchased things off my shop, and my shop update was on the 1st of March, and lots of things went out in the first few minutes, so it was so exciting to see, and lovely comments came through as well, so thank you so much for sending a message along with your order. That was really lovely. And the next shop update will be on the 1st of April if anybody's interested. I'll have some more bags, and if someone's mentioned that they missed out on anything, I'll try and do some replicates of the things that were sold out on the last shop update. So thank you for that. I'm also planning on doing a knitting design for a pair of socks that's related to my wedding, so I'll talk more about that on the next episode. But I've got the ideas all in my head. It's just a case of writing it out and actually knitting it up so you can see what it looks like. And I'm thinking about having a knit along for that. It's going to be a free pattern so that everybody can have a go, and because it's all sort of related to my wedding, I thought it'd be more fun if it was free and everyone could join in. So we've got knitting, sewing, blast from the past, and gadgets for today. So I'm going to start with my knitting and then go, I can't speak, and then go on to sewing, etc. So first of all, let's start with the finished objects. Woo! I'll have a sip of my tea first. Oh, I forgot to say what I was actually drinking. It's the Taylor's Sweet Rhubarb. I'm sure I've drank this before on the podcast. It's one of my favourites. Definitely recommend that. I saw that Claire on Instagram had said that she picked it up from Nora George, I think it was Nora George. She'd ordered some yarn and got some from her, and then she's addicted to it now. So that's brilliant. So right, I'll actually get on with it now. So my first finished object I'm going to show you is my Mercury socks. Oh, it's blowing out the colour a little bit. So I've got a lovely pair of socks that's in the Mercury pattern, and the designer is called Kim Drotar. It's a free pattern, and I think, to be honest, most people have knitted these already. So you'll be familiar with the stitch design. But the yarn is from Peggy May Yarns, and she has her own website. And Diane, who runs Peggy May Yarns, is actually quite local to me in Dereham, which is really close to Norwich. So hello, Diane. So she's got her own website that you can purchase yarns from. And I used 2.25mm Knit Pro Zing needles for these, and I used 66 stitches to cast on, but I'm quite a tight knitter, so that might be too many for lots of people, but just to let you know. So what I actually have done is I've blocked this one and not blocked this one. So you can see how the stitches kind of scooch up a bit on the right hand side compared to the one that's been blocked. I think the blocked one looks much nicer. It still looks pretty with the one that hasn't been blocked. But you can see how lovely the colourway is. Oh, and I forgot to actually tell you the colourway. This is Frosty the Snowman, and I have looked on Diane's website, Peggy May Yarns, and it does say that you can actually pre-order this, even though it was a Christmas colourway, because it was so popular. So that's my finished object number 1. So lovely. Oh, what I meant to say with these actually was, because I knit them on Knit Pro Zings, they were a little bit on the blunt side to do the knit two together, the slip knit stitch, which was a bit fiddly. So if I did these again, I'd knit them on like high sharps or something like that. That's my tip. So my second finished object are my Afterthought Everything socks. It'd be better if I put them on the sock blockers. I'll put them on the sock blockers so you can see them a bit better, because they've been sort of folded up after I've blocked them. They have been blocked though. So these socks are knitted with Drops Fable in the 911 colourway for the main sock, and then I've used a West Yorkshire Spinners yellow sock yarn just to finish off with the Afterthought heels and toes. So it was just such fun actually to do it, so that you knitted a massive tube and then did the heels and toes afterwards. I did change the heel very slightly in that the instructions, I won't tell you what the instructions are because it's a pay for pattern, but it's only about £2, but it's well worth it. The things I did different is that I knitted a whole row round the heel two rows around the heel before I started doing the decreases, which gives you a little bit more room in the heel. And I also kept decreasing for a little bit longer than it said, down to 24 stitches in total, so that I had a bit more room in the heel as well, and they fit really nicely, and I've got quite a high instep. Although I do find that because I cast on 64 stitches on 2.5mm needles here, although I am a tight knitter, I think that giving yourself plenty of room in the leg makes it, sort of gives you a bit more space on the heel as well, which is good. And then I did the yellow toes. I did actually knit the body of the sock a bit shorter. My calculations were a bit off, so I just did another ½ inch of yellow on the toe before I started on the decreases. But they were quite fun. Drops Fable is such an affordable yarn. It's great fun to knit with. And you can see that they don't actually match. Now, I normally like to match my socks, but with the Afterthought Everything's pattern, you can't do that really, unless you're really clever and work it out correctly. It's more difficult to do so anyway. So I just did it. I just kind of followed the pattern, didn't really think about trying to match the socks up. But I think they're fun anyway. These are going to be a gift for my friend Jenny from work. She keeps seeing me knitting socks and she was like, can you knit me some please? Just hopefully I don't get too many orders from work, otherwise I'll be knitting forevermore just for socks for them. So that's my second finished object. I'm just making sure that don't forget to tell you things about these. Right, so I'm going to go on to my works in progress now in terms of knitting. So I've been knitting on my Gainham shawl, or G shawl, because I completely pronounced it incorrectly. I'll show you the front of the pattern. So this is by Ruth at Knitterarium, and this is a gorgeous pattern. And I kind of say Gainham, and I can't remember if that's pronounced correctly. I'm sorry, Ruth, I'm rubbish. But I've been calling it my G shawl anyway. Just because you all know that I'm rubbish at pronouncing things. So I'm knitting this on Malabrigo yarn in the Bobbin blue colourway. That's the third skein that I've not caked up yet. That's Malabrigo lace. And I've started, well, well, I've done since my little cauldron progress keeper, that's how much I've done since the last time. I've kept the little the sock progress keeper in there, so that was the episode before the sock, just to see how much I did from then. And since the last episode I've done from the little cauldron, and it's a lovely textured pattern. I'm really looking forward to having that. I just haven't had an awful lot of time to knit on shawls at the moment because I'm trying to do my bobbin lace flowers. But I'm really, this yarn is so soft, I keep putting it against my face because it's so lovely. Sometimes I find it difficult to know whether it's going to itch, but that is definitely not going to itch my neck. It's so beautiful, really lovely. So that's my first work in progress. My second work in progress, and the last work in progress I have for today, is my Cozy Memories blanket. So I've done 6 squares since the last episode, yay! And this is my Emma row. So these yarns, I did a swap with Emma from Eldenwood Crafts, and every single one of these 6 squares is from the yarns that she swapped with me, she gifted to me. My absolute favourite is this Harry Potter one. It's amazing. I think it might be a Nora George one as far as I can remember. I think so. Like a striped version, and then all these are absolutely lovely. Really pretty squares. I don't actually know what the rest of them are because we just gave each other like mystery balls. So it was more fun. They're lovely though. I especially like the texture of this one. So Emma, if you're watching, if you could tell me what the base of this one is. It's really nice plump yarn. Gorgeous. I like them all though. Really lovely. So I'm hoping to get another row done by the next episode. Oh, it's so, now that I'm on the 2nd row, it's just so much more pleasurable. I have absolutely no idea why. So goodness knows how good the next row is going to feel. It's going to be amazing. I did think about doing like a chevron so that the stripes went along this way, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to do that or not. We'll have to see. Really pretty though. I was originally going to stick to sort of a few similar colours, but it's much more fun just trying them all out. Brilliant. It's such a pleasurable knit. Oh, I want to try and knit with this different yarn. Brilliant. I've got so many more minis in here as well to try out in my massive, great big bag, which is bigger than my head. It's got loads of mini skeins that I've got from swaps and things. Lovely. So that's all my knitting I've got to show you today. I now want to talk to you about my sewing. Oh, before I go on to the next thing, I want to tell you about, I've now written the pattern that I use for the Cozy Memories blanket on Ravelry. So if you go to my project page, you can see exactly what I do on the project page. I must actually link the video to the reverse double decrease that I do. It's much easier to understand, but I have written it out in a way that I think is easy to understand. So let me know if you're finding it difficult and I'll make a modification. So now I am going on to sewing. I'll have a sip of my tea before I start though. Excuse me. Bashing my cup down, that's not good, is it? Right, so I'll start with my bridesmaids dresses that I've started. I've cut all the pieces out. So I don't know if you remember me showing you this pattern before. So I'm going to do this dress here. It's got a long skirt, and on the pattern here it's got like a lacy exterior and then like a short strappy top underneath. Now I'm making these dresses for some young girls that are about 11 years old, and I thought that it might be better if they didn't show too much skin under there, which is probably a bit old-fashioned, but I just thought better to cover up a bit more. So what I'm going to do is do the whole full pattern with a solid material and then put lace on the top of it so that you can't see any of their skin and they can wear any bra underneath. That's if I don't really know if they wear bras at the age of 11. I've got no idea. I have no children myself. Everybody is thinking I'm nutty right now. So I've cut the pieces out. So the lining is going to be in this pale ivory sort of polyester type of material. It's got a lovely drape to it, so that'll be nice. And then I'm going to do, oh, I haven't got the soft tulle with me, so it's going to have a very soft tulle material over the top, on the top area, and then underneath on the skirt I'm going to have a couple of layers of this pale ivory tulle, just to make it sort of puff out a little bit more and make it feel a bit more dressy. So I haven't actually had a chance to get on and sew it properly together, but I'm hoping to do that before the next episode, hopefully get them completely finished by the next episode. And then I can get on with my proper dress, because I've only got 8 weeks to go and time is going very quickly, which is not good. So just to mention, I'm not going to show you any bobbin lace flowers today, but I've got, I think, 4 petals to do and then I finish them. So that's good. I'm getting closer on those. I've been working like mad trying to get bobbin lace petals just done and out of the way, and then I can focus on the dresses and that'll be fine. See, it's fine. Oh God. Anyway, right. Next sewing project is my embroidery. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, I've already shown a picture of this, and I haven't actually done any since. So this is called Anne Hathaway's Cottage. And it's, I actually purchased this from a charity shop for about £2, which was absolutely ridiculously cheap. So I want to kind of get this finished by the end of the year, really, especially. And that's quite not very hard to achieve, is it, by the end of the year? But I'll probably get work a lot more done on it when my wedding's finished. But I've done all this bit at the bottom is all done with embroidery floss. And then a lot of the house and the sky here is done with like a wool. I don't know whether you can see very well. There we go. I've actually done most of the roof there in the last couple of weeks. I'm hoping to get a bit more done, get the roof finished perhaps by the next episode, so that I've got a bit of embroidery as well as knitting and sewing as well. So that'll be good. I really think this is quite a cute little sort of chintzy little pattern. It's lovely. And plus it was only £2, which was absolutely ridiculous. Oh, I'm going backwards and forwards today. I completely forgot to say. So for the bridesmaid dresses, I've also got some of these sections of lace, which I purchased from a haberdashery, which I might sew on to like the neck area. I'll finish them off and then just lay them on and see how they look. But those are the pieces of lace that I bought. Sorry for swapping and changing back today. Very disorganised. It's because I have this big pile and some of it's getting lost. I should keep checking my list. That would be sensible, wouldn't it? Right. So I've got my blast from the past for this week is actually a piece of sewing. So I'll show you it before I open it. This is a pouch, a zipped pouch to put all my sewing needles in. So it's actually layered bits of organza and wadding, which I've then cut with a soldering iron to cut these sections out. And then I've done some stitching over with some silver thread and hand sewn some beads to the outside. The other side's got some little decorative holes in as well, done with the soldering iron. So inside, so it's got a zip right the way down the outside. Be careful not to drop things out of it. So I've got my huge great big needles on this side, and then I've tried to label the pages different things. So we've got quilting needles. Is that quilting? No, I can't even read. I'm trying to read it back to front and I should remember which order it is. So we've got chenille needles, and I've got embroidery needles, quilting needles, and there's 2 pages of those, I think. There we go. Some sharps, tapestry, milliners, and some beading needles there. So they've just got little embroidery done on the machine on each page, and then on the back I've got a load of pins on there just in case. So I'll take this out to classes if I'm doing any hand sewing classes. That's just really handy. But actually the pages inside are made from a scarf that my mum didn't want anymore, which is ridiculous. She'd never actually worn it, and it's like it sort of feels like felt, but it's definitely sort of polyester or acrylic or something. but it was a very flat, long shawl, and Mum didn't like it at all, so I cut it up into pages for my needle book, which was just fun. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. And it's great because I can just grab it and take it anywhere. Brilliant. Lovely. I like a bit of organisation. It's so much fun. So now I've got my gadget. It's not particularly exciting this week, but this is very, very, very useful. I call it my pokey thing. So this is basically out of a magazine, and I use it to turn out corners when I'm making like pockets or anything that needs to be turned inside out and you need to poke out the corners. I'll tell you what I also have. What can be useful as well is different little pokey things like this, what they sell that children can play with Play-Doh and things. So actually, if you buy these kits to play with the Play-Doh, well, you don't actually use them to play with the Play-Doh, but they're actually a lot cheaper than buying specialised objects to poke corners out and things. But this was actually from a magazine, so it didn't cost very much. I think it was out of Quilting Today or something. Can't quite remember. But pokey things, very useful. I actually don't know. There might be a proper name for these things, but all I know is that I love them. So that's our gadget done for today, and we're on to confessions. Dear, I'm sliding off my chair closer and closer to you. Let's start. So I put an order in to Nora George a couple of weeks ago. Oh dear. Admittedly, I haven't actually ordered any more yarn since the last podcast. Are you proud of me? So I ordered 3 skeins from Nora George, and they're all Harry Potter related. So number 1, it's Gryffindor. Yay! 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. I think most of you have some Nora George in your stashes already, and you'll know that she's got some good stuff. This one is called Fleur Delacour, character from Harry Potter, and it's got some gorgeous purples and greens and blues. Absolutely lovely. I needed some more Harry Potter yarn so that I could join inside number 23's knit along, so I had to have these. Now, I was a bit slow and I wanted a full skein of this, but they'd run out. I was just about to put it in my cart. It ran out, so I had to get a small one. So this one is called Bill and Fleur Get Married. That's really cute. Gorgeous colours with like the peach with the blue and the cream together, and they're all on the same base. So I'm really pleased about those. And I also have some more Harry Potter yarn. Now, this might be secret. I don't know. So Peggy May has done some sort of Harry Potter yarn boxes, and I purchased the Philosopher's Stone yarn box. So if you've ordered this and you haven't received it yet, you might want to skip a couple of minutes so that it doesn't get spoiled for you, because it's a surprise. So this is the yarn. Oh my goodness, absolutely gorgeous. So I ordered the MCN base, the very posh luxury sock, and it is absolutely amazing. So Peggy May's or Diane's normal base is about the thickness, I'd say, of just a bit thicker than opal yarn, but this is really, really plump and luxurious, so it's definitely named well. So there's Diane's card for Peggy May Yarns, and her website is separate rather than being on Etsy, so you can find her there. So this is, like I said, an MCN base, and it's 50% superwash merino, 10% cashmere and 10% nylon. And you can see why that there's obviously Philosopher's Stone's red, isn't it? Ooh, gorgeous. And she does this colour here. I love it. It's like a very sort of tonal grey, sort of browny black colour in with the lovely bright reds there. Really pretty and so squishy. Squish, squish, squish. God. And in with the yarn kit came this lovely little wand stitch marker. Progress keeper rather. I'm forever calling progress keepers stitch markers. It's terrible. That's really cute. I haven't used it yet because I wanted to show you guys. And also this really cute Harry Potter little bracelet thing, and it's got the Deathly Hallows symbol on the back. This is really cute. And then I also ordered, because I could not resist, this is absolutely stunning. I want to eat it. I may try and eat it at some point. It's a little feast. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely gorgeous. I could not order this. It was lovely. So that is going straight on a project. So it looks like you could eat it. I'll have to show you again. I'm extra nutty today. I do apologise. So, I was going to tell you some things that were related to the Harry Potter, because we've got lots of Harry Potter yarn in this podcast episode. So I thought I'd tell you how obsessed I am with Harry Potter. I suppose a lot of you are anyway. I'll drink my Harry Potter mug at the same time. So Adam and I have been going to the Warner Brothers Studios in Watford, that's it, Watford in London, mostly once a year for the last like 6 years or something. Ridiculous. And one of those times Adam proposed to me. So if any of you have actually been to the Harry Potter Warner Brothers Studios in London, you'll know that there's a room at the end which has a rather beautiful model. That's all I'm going to say in case you haven't been. And the lights go up and down to depict day and night, which is really sweet. And they have some beautiful sort of emotional music going on. And Adam picked a golden snitch up, and I said, "Where have you got that from?" And he opened it, and there was an engagement ring, and he asked me to marry him, which was really sweet. And of course I said yes. It was really funny because the guy who was working there was stood at the side, was clapping at us. It was a bit embarrassing. I said, "Adam, will you get up?" Anyway, that's my soppy bit for today. Also in purchases, I bought some plastic knitting needles. Now, I wouldn't normally buy plastic knitting needles, but we've booked a honeymoon, and I thought maybe these would be best to go on the plane with, because lots of people have been telling me that it's probably not a good idea to go on a plane with metal needles because they'll get taken off you. Now, theoretically, so we're going to Florida. We're going to Universal Studios in Florida, where there's a Harry Potter land. Yeah, this is where the obsession is coming out. So I want to go to Florida, and I really want to knit on the plane. And according to the instructions on the internet, it says that if you travel between the UK and America, you're allowed to use knitting needles. But I'm a bit worried about them being taken off me. So I purchased these plastic ones, thinking that they'd be less offensive than even the wooden ones. If anybody has any tips on whether these are a good idea or whether I'd be better getting some wood ones, greatly appreciated. I have never actually knitted on the plane before, and I just can't not knit for 9 hours now. It would just be awful. So any tips on what needles you've used on a plane, that would be brilliant. I'll open a Ravelry thread for this episode as soon as this is finished up recording, and anybody has any information on that, that'd be brilliant. So that's my purchases, but I also have a prize that I won. I've actually hidden the sock blank inside this bag. So Kate at Hawthorne Cottage Crafts had a giveaway on Instagram, and she also has a podcast. It was for the podcast, I think. So actually, I started watching Kate on her podcast, and it's really, really good. She's got some lovely colourwork jumpers that she's doing, and she's such a fast knitter. It's brilliant. So go and check her out. So this is the bag I won. It's a lovely sort of large sock size bag, and it's got her lovely little label on the back just there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This print is just up my street with the pinks and the blues there, and it's got a little button that opens up, and the poppers open like this. so you can't catch your knitting in any zips or anything, and it's got a really good size inside. And I have actually got a card in here so you can check her out. She's got an Etsy shop with lots of lovely bags in, so go and check Kate out. And it came with this lovely yarn blank. So this is a sock blank by Fine Fish Yarns, and I thought this was hilarious, but it's actually called Naked Boys. I'm so immature. But it's got some really lovely patterns, and I didn't open it until today so I could sort of do it on the podcast to see what it looks like, and I'll open it up to show you. Oh, there's some really lovely colours in there. Also, I can see some purple and some oranges and some black speckles. That'll be stunning. It's really nice. It's sort of completely dyed with one colour, and then it's got the speckles over that. So that's beautiful. I've never actually knitted with Fine Fish Yarns before, but I've heard lots of lovely things about it. It's sort of a UK company that's in Ireland, and it's a lovely small business. It's always good to support small businesses, and Kate has got a lovely obsession, I should say. That's a bit mean, isn't it? Kate always loves to buy Fine Fish Yarn, so it must be good if she keeps buying and buying. So I'm really looking forward to start knitting with this. I saw the Crazy Sock Lady was doing a sock blank knit along. I think it starts next month. I think it starts the 1st of April, so I'll be casting those on as socks with the knit along. So I'm really excited to use my bag from Kate. Lovely. So that's all my sort of requisitions as well as some confessions. Well, it's not really a requisition, a lovely win. So thank you so much, Kate. That's really lovely. Right, what have I got next? I've got an even more massive pile of stuff here, because of the Ask Me Anything question that I had this week. So I've only got one question, but there's lots of things to say about it. Oh no, I forgot to write down who it was who said the question. I'll put it on the screen here. So thank you so much for asking me the question, and I've completely forgotten your name, but thank you so much. So there's several parts to this question. It's related to my bobbin lace. So the first question is, when did I start? So I started approximately 2-3 years ago, I think. So I'd seen a friend of mine at my local spinning and weaving group doing some bobbin lace. Now, bobbin lace is theoretically a type of weaving because you're using passives and then a worker that weaves in and out of the main set of bobbins. So it's a type of weaving. But I really wanted to learn properly and have lessons. And my friend actually taught a small class herself. So I begged her, please, can I join? And she actually eventually let me. Not that she had to wait very long. I make it sound like I'm a horrible person. So I started doing lessons, and I've been going every Monday evening for all that time. And it's great to have some help all the time, because there's lots of different techniques in bobbin lace once you've got over the first sort of half stitch and whole stitch. That's the most basic principle. But once you've done that, there's lots of other little things to remember. So I think it is, if you are wanting to start bobbin lace, it's really good to have a group that you can chat to people and ask questions. It really, really helps in your progression in the technique. And the next question is, have I made anything else? Now, I have shown a few things before on the podcast, but it was some time ago. So I've made some little doilies with different stitches of bobbin lace across the top. You probably can't tell the difference. So this one is half stitch, it's more of an open weave. This one is whole stitch with less twists in, and this one's whole stitch with a twist in between, so it separates the gaps a bit more. But you probably can't really tell the difference if you haven't done bobbin lace before. But I was just trying out some different techniques. So that's one thing. I've also done about 1 million bookmarks. So these are some of the ones that I'd had a go at, just with different coloured yarns, which are great fun. So part of the next question is what thread I use. So These ones are actually done with a thicker thread because I did them when I was learning, and these are size 8 sort of crochet thread that you can use, so that's quite a thick thread you can get hold of from lots of different shops. I don't know if it's particularly crochet thread, but it's a size 8 weight, and they normally come in little balls. They're sort of like this, but this is a size 12 in a white. So the next piece I've done, I've shown this before, is a little butterfly that I've made, which I'm going to do another one to go in this part of the frame, but I haven't got around to it yet because I'm too busy doing flipping flowers for the wedding. I'll just show one more piece. This is I've shown this before as well. This one's got a coloured thread woven through a white, and the coloured thread is a size 8. And then the white thread, I think, is a size 25 maybe, weight thread. I'll now show you some more of the threads that I use. So now that I've been doing it a little while, I tend to use the thinner threads. So this one is one of my favourites, it's Finca. So this is a bobbin lace. This is specifically made for bobbin lace, and this is a size 60 weight. You've got, the higher the number, the thinner it is. So I have got some 100 weight somewhere here. I've just lost it, but it pretty much looks the same in the same bobbin. So for my bobbin lace flowers, I used a 50 weight Finca, and I've also done this butterfly was made with these DMC. I can't think what they're called. These little balls of DMC 80 weight thread. So it's a bit annoying that the different makes, so this is 80 and this is 60, but the Finca is actually finer than the DMC weight, even though it's supposed to be the higher the number the thinner it is, but because of the make, Finca just are on the thinner side anyway, finer thread. And I've also got some variegated ones as well, which is really cute. There we go. So this is the sort of thread I use. You could probably do it with lots of different threads. I've even got some silver Madeira thread there that I wanted to have a go, but I haven't got around to yet. Ooh, I'm throwing things on the floor. So you can try it out with lots of different threads. I think that sewing thread is probably a bit on the thin side. But if you used like a thick hand quilting thread, that would probably be okay. The thing is, with the ones that are made specifically for bobbin lace, they tend to lay stiffer and stay in the pattern better, so you are better off getting the proper threads when you actually start doing it yourself. And the last question I had was, do I starch my petals for the bobbin lace flowers? And I actually don't, because I weave a piece of metal through the edge of the piece so that it keeps it stiff. You don't need to starch it, but you can. I have got some starch which I have used before to stiffen projects, but I haven't actually got any of those to show you here today. I've given them as gifts. So that's that question. I did have... Somebody showed an interest in knowing what sort of things you needed to start bobbin lace, and I thought I'd show you. So this is one of the round cushions that you can get. This is actually made of polystyrene. This is the first one I started with, and it's just covered with some material, but this is just made of polystyrene. You can get ones that have got like hay inside, which is the one I'm using now. It's sort of a better quality and it lasts a bit longer, but to start with, if you use one of the polystyrene ones, that's fabulous. If I was starting again, I'd probably try and get a cushion that is less domed, because it makes your work bend to the shape of the dome. My newer bobbin lace cushion, which has got my work on it downstairs, it hasn't got so much of a dome on it, and it's much easier to get a nice flat piece out of that. So you'd need your bobbin lace cushion. You'd also need some cloths. Now I just sewed some cloths in a square shape together, and you can just lay this around your pattern on the bobbin lace cushion, just to keep everything so that you haven't got any pins that can catch the material, and it also to cover it when stop it getting dusting. So those are brilliant. I have 4 of these for my cushion, but you'd need at least 2 anyway to be useful. So I've talked about threads, some of the threads that you can use. Oh, there are a couple of other threads that I've bought which I haven't actually tried out yet, but these really, really shiny ones for Christmas. I've got some gold and red threads there which are fun to do some Christmas decorations with. So I'm hoping to show you some of those before Christmas this year, hopefully. And also pins. So pins are really important. So the finer the thread you use, the finer the pins you need. So you can buy specialised pins from bobbin lace suppliers, like Rose Ground. I'll put a couple of links in the down box that you can link to a couple of suppliers in the UK. I don't know of any suppliers outside the UK, I'm afraid. So I don't really know who you could contact really to find local suppliers if you're not in the UK. If you do know any of those, perhaps if you put it in the Ravelry discussion thread, other people can see, and I can also mention it on the next podcast. So the patterns that I use are done on a card. Now, so this grey card material is where I mount a piece of white paper with the pricking marks where you put your pins. And then I put a blue sticky back plastic over the top, which just makes it a lot stronger, and then I can use it again and again. So I've got a bag with quite a lot of different patterns that I've used. So I've done a little lady shape, and all the bookmarks I've got a separate pattern to those, and I can then keep them to use again. So you'd need some card and some sticky back plastic. The blue stuff is specially made for bobbin lace so that you can actually see better. Because a lot of the bobbin lace is done in a white thread, if you've got a blue background you can see your threads better and see what you're doing. But it wouldn't really matter, especially if you're going to start off with lots of different colours. And I think that's it really. So those are all of the things you need to start off. After the wedding I'm going to try and do some little tutorial videos about the bobbin lace, so look out for those. I'm sorry I've gone about a lot about bobbin lace today. Too much, sorry. I might think about after, in the next few months I might split the hobbies so that I've got knitting and sewing in a separate one and then do bobbin lace in a separate one. I don't know. Tell me what you think, that'd be really interesting, or would you rather have it all in one episode? That'd be interesting to see what you think. So any comments about this episode, just go to the Ravelry thread in the chatter group there. It's probably the easiest place, or you can make some comments down below. I think that's about it for today. Have I got anything on my list? I think that's about everything from my list. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget I've got a shop update on the 1st of April. I've got nothing else that I've put on new in the shop, but there are a few bags in there left if you're interested to see. Lots of progress keepers. Thank you so much for watching.